Chapter 5. Sara! Wait up! Sara stopped in the center of the intersection and waited as her little brother ran at top speed toward her. You gotta come, Sara! It's real neat! I'll bet it is, Sara thought, pondering the last several real neat things Jason had sprung on her. There was a barn rat he had trapped in his own self-made trap that really was alive last time I looked, Jason had promised. Twice he had caught Sara off guard and had tricked her into peering into his school bag, only to find some innocent little bird or mouse that had fallen prey to Jason and his grungy little friends, excited and eager to use their new Christmas BB guns. What is it with boys? Sara pondered, waiting, as Jason, tired, had now slowed to a walk, seeing that Sara was actually waiting for him. How can they actually take pleasure in hurting poor, defenseless little animals? I'd like to catch them in a trap and see how they like it, Sara thought. I remember when his pranks were less gory and even funny sometimes. But Jason just seems to get meaner and meaner. Sara stood in the middle of the quiet country road, waiting for her brother to catch up to her. She suppressed a smile as she remembered the clever hoax Jason had carried out by laying his head down on his desk, hiding his shiny rubber vomit, and then looking up with his big brown eyes, exposing his sickening prize when his teacher stood over him. Mrs. Johnson had rushed out of the room to get the janitor to deal with the mess. But when she came back, Jason announced that he had taken care of it, and Mrs. Johnson was so relieved that she didn't even ask any questions. Jason was excused to go home. Sara was stunned at how gullible Mrs. Johnson had been, not even wondering how this vomit, which appeared fresh and runny, managed to stand in such a neat little puddle on a desk with a very significant slope. But then Mrs. Johnson hadn't yet had as much experience with Jason as Sara had, and she admitted he got to her more than once in her more naive days, but no more. Sara was on to her brother. Sara! Jason shouted, winded and excited. Sara stepped back. Jason, you don't have to yell. I'm only 2 feet away from you. Sorry, Jason gulped as he tried to catch his breath. You gotta come! Solomon's back! Who's Solomon? Sara questioned, regretting her question as soon as it was blurted out. She didn't want to show one bit of interest in whatever Jason was babbling about. Solomon! You know Solomon! The giant bird on Thacker's trail! I never heard of a giant bird on Thacker's trail, Sara offered, mastering as much of a sound of boredom as she could on such short notice. Jason, I'm not interested in any more of your stupid birds. This bird isn't stupid, Sara. It's gigantic. You should see it. Billy said it's bigger than his father's car. Sara, you have to come, please. Jason, a bird cannot be bigger than a car. Yes, it can. You can ask Billy's dad. He was driving home one day and he said he saw a shadow so big he thought it was an airplane passing over him. It covered the whole car. But it wasn't an airplane. Sara! It was Solomon! Sara had to admit that Jason's enthusiasm for Solomon was getting to her a bit. I'll go some other time, Jason. I have to get home. Oh, Sara, please come. Solomon might not be here again. You have to come. Sara, you have to. Jason's persistence was beginning to worry Sara. He wasn't usually so intense. Ordinarily, when he felt Sara's strong will kicking in, he had just give up and lay low and wait for another opportunity to catch her more off guard. He had learned from much experience that the more he pressed his sister to do something that she didn't want to do, the more impossible Sara became. But there was something different here. Jason seemed compelled in a way that Sara hadn't seen before, and so, to Jason's tremendous surprise and delight, Sara gave in. Oh, all right, Jason. Where is this giant bird? His name is Solomon. How do you know his name? Billy's dad named him. He says he's an owl, and owls are wise. So his name should be Solomon. Sara picked up her pace to try to keep up with Jason. He's really excited about this bird, Sara thought. This is weird. He's in here somewhere, Jason said. He lives in here. Sara was often amused at Jason's assumed confidence. When Sara knew that he really didn't know what he was talking about. But more often than not, Sara would play along, pretending that she didn't notice. It was easier that way. They looked into the sparsely leafed thicket, now covered with snow. They walked along a badly decaying fence row, following a narrow path in the snow, carved out by a lone dog that had apparently run along not long before them. Sarah almost never walked this path in the winter. It was out of the way of her usual walk between school and home. This was, however, a place where Sarah had spent countless blissful summer hours. Sarah walked along, noting all the familiar nooks and crannies, feeling good about revisiting her old path. Best thing about this path, Sarah thought, is that I had it mostly to myself. No cars passing, no neighbors. This is a quiet path. I should walk here more often. Solomon! Jason's voice rang out, startling Sarah. She hadn't expected him to shout. Jason, don't yell at Solomon. If he's in here, he won't be if you keep that up. He's in here, Sarah. I told you. He lives in here. And if he would have left, we would have seen him. He's really big, Sarah. Really? Sarah and Jason walked deeper and deeper into the thicket, ducking under a rusty wire, which was one of the last remnants of this rickety old fence. They walked along slowly, feeling their way carefully, not certain what might be buried in this knee-deep snow. Jason, I'm getting cold. Just a little more, Sarah, please. It was more from her own curiosity than from Jason's prodding. But Sarah agreed. Okay, Jason. 5 more minutes. Sarah shrieked as she stepped, waist high, into an irrigation ditch camouflaged by the snow. The cold, wet snow came right up under Sarah's coat and blouse and touched right up against her bare skin. Okay, Jason, that's it. I'm going home. Jason was disappointed that they didn't find Solomon. But Sarah's irritation had distracted him from that. There wasn't much that pleased Jason more than his sister's irritation. Jason laughed heartily as Sarah shook the cold, wet snow out from under her clothing. Oh, you think that's funny, don't you, Jason? You probably made this whole Solomon thing up just to get me wet and mad. Jason laughed as he ran out ahead of Sarah. As much as he enjoyed her irritation, he had wisely learned to keep a safe distance. Oh, Sarah, Solomon is real. You'll see. Yeah, right? Sarah snapped back at Jason. But for some reason, Sarah knew that Jason was right.